I look good?
Yeah! Here, well, I'm blocking people, so we're going to go right here on stage and we'll welcome you back up. So, Peggy Hoffman that is good, that's really good. It's going to make for some great photos.
This is a confident woman. About her hair.
She even put the wig net on underneath. So, I am so excited. How many of you
pictures from this point forward.
How many of you had an opportunity to go to one of our regional leadership forums last summer and heard from Peggy? So put a, hey, I love this. Wonderful.
We're going to the bar because
Wonderful. So what we promised you in those forums was that we were going to take a deeper dive into those conversations that we had with Peggy. And so I'm so excited, and I'm just going to pass the microphone right up to her, and we're going to get started on our next session. And I'll keep the dragons.
Bravo to the costumes. Yeah.
So I will get my hair fixed before we have our welcome reception. We're not, but I want to get you started doing some work before I go and make myself look gorgeous. So there's this great story, stop me if you've heard this one, about British Airways. So they got together because they were trying to solve the lost baggage scenario. And they were like, we've got to solve this because that is one of the most infuriating aspects to our travelers. When they get to their destination and they are not brought together to their baggage, right? When they're separated from that baggage. Have you guys heard this story? Okay. So, they pulled together all these people together, all their greatest minds at British Airways, and said, we've got to solve for this. How do we make sure that all the baggage gets where it's supposed to be? So they went through all of their operational stuff. They figured out all of these things. And by the way, they were only solving for 0.05%, because that's how good their baggage retrieval was. But they wanted to get that last bit. Now, as the story goes, they finally decided to go out and to ask some of their folks. They put a focus group out, and they just went to airports, and they said, when someone came and said, hey, did you get your bag? Yes. How do you feel about it? And the person said, I feel great. Did you get your bag? No. How do you feel about it? I feel horrible. And they kept going through here again, and finally they changed the question. And they said, what is a great experience on BA? And one person articulated it by simply saying, a great arrival experience, thank you very much. Here's my story. I arrived at Heathrow. I had an appointment at 2 o'clock that day. I arrived a little after 12 o'clock. I was able to get my luggage, get out of there, get to the hotel, take a shower, and get to my meeting on time. That's a great arrival experience. At that moment, the marketing and all of the operational people stopped and said, wait a minute. He needed to get to a meeting. He needed to change because he'd come a long way. The solution was not trying to solve for that last 0.05%. The solution was putting showers in the club. So when you get off the plane, once you get through, you shower, you change, you go to your luggage, and you're off to your meeting. Now I'm sharing this story with you because all those comments and messages that came up were things about, in many cases, about trying to get that last 0.05%. And all we have to do if we want our chapters to succeed is not focus on being perfect about everything, but is finding that one sweet element. We have to solve the right problem, not try to solve all the problems. And when we're looking for what the right value proposition is, I'd like us to start to say, what is the one thing that people come to us for? And how can we make sure that that is what we're actually providing? Let me start with a question for you. Why are you a member? Why are you a member? Now, I love watching the scroll. Education, networking, career growth, education, networking, connections, professional development. Keep answering the question, but now let me ask this question just slightly differently. What is the job you were trying to get done when you joined? What was the job you were trying to get done when you joined? If you're going to put up the word networking, I need to know what was the question. What was the purpose of that networking? When you joined, there was something on your mind. There was a specific need. Let me give you another example. So there was this small independent shop that made milkshakes. And they were trying to figure out how to perfect their milkshakes to get a bigger percentage of the customer base. So they went out and they asked customers over and over again. They said to their customers, "What can I do to make you get more milkshakes?" And Dana answered, like many people, make them thicker. Eric said, "Actually, I just would like to have some sprinkles on top." Martina said, "Actually, if you could create a wonderful blend of strawberry and chocolate." And so they did all of these things, and their share of the market stayed exactly the same. So they had somebody just sit outside the store and just sit there and note who came, what time they came, and what milkshake they bought. So how many people have heard this story before as well? So the interesting thing was, they found out that most of the milkshakes were actually in the morning by single people who were buying that milkshake basically as they were on their way to work. So they stopped this person and they said, "What's the job you're trying to get done by buying that milkshake?" And the person went, "Beg your pardon?" Conversation went a little deeper, and finally the sort of job is, I'm on my way to work, it's a long commute. I tried a bagel, it's messy. Tried a banana, gone too quickly. The milkshake is filling, it's tasty, it's thick, it's a small straw. I don't finish it until I get to work. Passes the time, gives me something to do. The job was to pass the time on this long drive. So I ask you, when you joined, it wasn't to network. It was a specific reason. It wasn't for education. At that moment, there was something, there was a job to be done. The reason why I'm asking you to do that is because you can't convince somebody, Darlene, you cannot convince somebody to join HSMA. But you can find out what the job is. And you can show them how you can help them with that job. Then you're not convincing the person saying, where do I sign up? So, we're going to spend a little bit of time this afternoon, and we're going to talk a little bit specifically about that job, and how do we translate that to help you have better conversations, not just sales conversations. So I want you to think of a new member. Who has a fairly new member that they've been around? Somebody. Raise your hand. Are you a new member? Oh my gosh, Nirvana, this is awesome. Can I put you on the spot? No? Okay, let me help you as queen of the dragon. Mother of the dragons, would say Elizabeth. Thank you. I was going to say something like, did you want to defend me? I'll be nicer than that. Okay. As a new member, what did you say when you joined? Microphone?
Run, Jenny. See Jenny, run. Where are we going?
Hi. Oh, no, I'm just going to tell her over there and then bring her back.
So just to step back a little bit, the original reason why I wanted to join HSAI as Central Florida chapter was because I wanted to get more involved in the community. When I did join, I was like, what did I get myself signed up for? Because I had no idea what to expect. Now I feel like I am going to do more within the community because I'm on the community involvement side, so that's where I went.
Okay, awesome. So you heard a couple of things. The job that she wanted was what, folks? Get involved in the community, right? And then after she joined, what did she find out? What?
Foreign registration. We didn't give her the community yet.
They're tough down in Central Florida.
I know, but she came all the way to Colorado.
I know.
But what she found was that she could in fact give more to the community. Okay? I want you, as we're answering the questions of how are you going to translate the value proposition, I want you to think of that story. And I want for a moment, anybody else, can you think of a new member and what they said when they joined? What did they discover when they joined? Yes, all the way over. Jen, you want to run?
I got it.
Thank you,
Oh,
Erin.
man. Jenny, I'm trying to get
Sure.
Thanks, Peggy.
I don't actually use a microphone, but the thing that we've heard a couple times is that it's a safe space for them. So it's a place that a new member can come and ask those questions that maybe they're not getting those answers at work, and they're not surrounded by meeting planners who they're trying to impress and prove to them that you want to bring your event to me because I'm capable and competent and your event is going to go swimmingly. But, that's why I joined, because I didn't have a DOS. I needed help, and I found people to help me.
Good, thank you.
It's Erin. I think it's Erin. Could you just say when you're talking, so then, because so many of us know each other's names and voices from the phone, your name, your chapter role,
I'm
chapter.
Erin Jackson. I'm the Vice President of Special Events for the Missouri chapter, and I work for the Explore St. Louis, which is the CBB in St. Louis.
Thank you, Erin.
One more. Someone remember one? Yes.
Hi everybody, my name is Monique Branch. I am with the Wisconsin chapter. We are new, so we're in our third year as a chapter. And it was mostly because there was a void that I was working at the CBB at the time, and we were hearing feedback from our partners that there wasn't really a safe place there was the MPI chapter, but like revenue managers just didn't have a place to collaborate and come together. All the sales managers and POSs would go off on their networking events and do their things, but there was a void for revenue managers and digital marketing managers to have a place to come together. And we were, a couple of us had known about HSMAI, and we decided to move forward and open our chapter. So it just finally gave it a place for people to get together and have a safe place to talk and network. So.
And you guys rocked as you opened your chapter, I just have to add. Nice work.
Great.
I think they're up to 80 members, so, yep. Congrats.
Awesome. All right, we're going to start to kick off a place where you guys have these wonderful, very large, so you can write large so that we can read solutions. Now, we don't want on these pages, because we're going to post them up, we don't want problems. Because what we're solving for is actually an opportunity. And it's the opportunity for us to get other new members into our fold. If we try to solve the problem, if they don't have money, they don't have time, and they don't have support, we're never going to solve for that. But if we understand that the job they're trying to do is to find a place where they can ask the questions that no one will laugh or giggle, right? If we can find a place where they can find a spot in the community, make a difference, all of these are positive things. That's what we want to discover. What are those places, what are those jobs to be done that we can uniquely respond to, and we want to capture those here. I'm going to put this question up because it gives us an opportunity to begin to say what those jobs might be so that we can create the answers, the responses, and begin to develop that value prop. Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
Yes.
So are you wanting them to write it on here or up there?
We're going to, they're going to write solutions. So over here is what problems matter to our potential member, what jobs need to be done. The answer is right here. So the answer might be, for example, whose slide did I have up there about the bread, the bread fest? There was a slide up here I grabbed off of one of your chapter sites. Somebody has a bread basket that they, oh my gosh, come on guys. Okay, I'll go find it. I pulled it off the Facebook page. It was just in the HSMAI chapter.
It's probably one of the few that are not here.
Yeah, probably.
Forward.
A big community outreach project that you guys did, right? So, if the job to be done is how do I get involved in the community, you might say, we have an active community outreach project, okay? If someone says, I need a safe space, you might say, we have the coffee whips that allow people to come together and meet peer-to-peer in a small, comforting environment. Make sense?
Yep.
Make sense?
Yes.
All right. You see, I need positive affirmation, even though I am mother of the dragons. So when I say, does it make sense? Yes, thank you. So you're using your answers here or in your conversation. How much time do you want to give them? How about 6.5 minutes?
6.5 minutes.
6.5 minutes.